All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing A Small Town in Germany by John Le Carre, one of my favorite writers of all time, the great British spy novelist John Le Carre. Now, I've reviewed probably 4 or 5 Le Carre thrillers on my channel so far, and, you know, he's one of my favorite authors. We'll just go over here right from the beginning, pan through the library, and I will show you my entire John Le Carre book collection right there. Got all of his books. Anyway, let's talk about A Small Town in Germany. Book came out in 1968. I mean, Le Carre's been writing for a long time. Let's talk about the cover, because I love graphic design and cover illustration. This has got a pretty cool cover. We've got the red embossed font with the spiral staircase, you know. Pretty cool. I mean, all of the Le Carre covers are pretty good. Small towns. I love German small towns. I've been to many German small towns, including many along the Mosel River and the Rhine River. Well, everywhere. Really everywhere in Germany. I've been to small towns. And this book takes place in Bonn, Germany, which I've been to. It kind of involves Remagen, where Le Carre says that he went to write this book. He actually wrote this book in Remagen, Germany, which is kind of a famous World War II place where there was a bridge that crossed the Rhine River, that there was a battle, the Remagen River, or the Remagen Bridge over the Rhine River. Anyway, he went there specifically to write this book. And this book was set in Bonn, Germany, which is right near Remagen, Germany. I've been to both. They're cool. Now, this book is set in the 1960s, West Germany. And you have to understand, in the 1960s, in the mid-60s, when this was set, it was only 20 years removed from World War II and Nazism. And if you think about that, that's not a big span of time. I mean, in our day and age, that would be like 20 years ago was 9/11. And and those of us that were there for that, or alive for that, still remember, that's still fresh in our minds. Still super fresh in our minds. And so, to have people in Bonn, Germany, living in the mid-60s, they are still feeling the aftermath of World War II. It's still fresh in their mind. Nazis still live amongst them. And the kids of these people that lived through World War II, these Germans that lived through World War II, now their kids are growing up and starting to ask a lot of questions, like, what, Mommy, Daddy, what was your part in the war? Were you Nazis? Were you the bad guys? What did you do? It's a very interesting time in Germany. You know, kids asking their parents, did you play a part in the Holocaust? Did you kill people? I mean, very, very interesting. And John Le Carre does a really good job of kind of wrapping the reader's head around what it must have been like in the 60s to live in Germany. But I wanted to write, just before we get into the plot of this, I want to read just the prologue, because this is such beautiful writing. Such beautiful writing. And Le Carre considers this one of his worst books. And if this is one of his worst books, and it's got this beautiful of writing, you know that the books he considers good are like super dynamite. So anyway, this is him describing a small town in Germany. 10 minutes to midnight, a pious Friday in May, and a fine river mist lying on the market square. Bonn was a Balkan city, stained and secret, drawn over with tram wire. Bonn was a dark house where someone had died. A house draped in Catholic black and guarded by policemen. Their leader coats glistened in the lamplight. No, their leather coats glistened in the lamplight. The black flags hung over them like birds. It was as if all they had heard the alarm and fled. Now a car, now a pedestrian hurried past, and the silence followed like a wake. A tram sounded, but far away. In the grocer's shop, from a pyramid of tins and the handwritten notice advertised the emergency. Only the posters spoke. From trees and lanterns they fought their feudal war, each at the same height as if they were regulation. They were printed in radiant paint, mounted on hardboard, and draped in the thin streams of black bunting, and they rose vividly as he hastened past. You know, you just get an idea of what Bonn must have been like back then with these policemen in the shadows, the mist over there. I mean, it's beautiful writing. Anyway, let's talk about the plot of this book. The British Embassy in Bonn is in turmoil. England is seeking admission into the European Common Market, which, you know, I'm assuming that's what the EU used to be called. I don't know. But there are many anti-British factions still in power in Germany. You know, I mean, just because the war is over and the Americans and Germans won doesn't mean it's all, you know, hunky-dory between everybody. I mean, there's still people in Germany that hate the British, hate the Americans, and why would we want the British in the EU, right? You know, I mean, so anyway, it's a power struggle between people that still kind of sympathize with Nazis, people that are still anti-British, people that are struggling with the war still, rebuilding the country. It's a bleak time. And in the British Embassy, there's a guy named Leo Harding, and he goes missing. Not only does he go missing, but he goes missing with a bunch of top secret files. Confidential stuff. He goes missing. And so the London office sends to the British Embassy a fellow named Alan Turner to control the damage of these missing files and this missing man, to suss out what happened to the guy. And as this is sort of the mystery that's set up, what happened to this guy? What happened to the secret files? Where in Germany could he have gone? What small town could he be hiding out in? And as Alan Turner sort of investigates this, not only Alan, but the reader also starts to realize maybe nobody really wants this dude found. Even though he's been dispatched to find the guy, maybe he's going to have roadblock after roadblock after roadblock because the British don't want him found, the Germans don't want him found. And so nobody wants Leo Harding or the secret documents found. And it's kind of a really gripping Cold War paranoia type novel at its best. And that's what John Le Carre does, is these sort of fascist, socialist, communist versus democracy type books where everybody's looking over their shoulder on all sides. And it's just gripping, and the writing style is beautiful. I mean, I consider John Le Carre like literary fiction, but thriller novel-ish. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this quite a bit. So I give it a 9 out of 10. Great book, but I am reading all of his books in order of publication. This is the 4th or 5th one he wrote. He's got 20 or 22 books, 25 books out. They just get better. I mean, this is a 9 out of 10, and every one of them gets better.